What can't you believe still exists? You people don't remember the pain of the original pre-flash TI-83. When its batteries got low, it would start making mistakes. I'm not joking. This is because that one still used analog circuitry, not full digital. In college I switched to a TI-89. Honestly, a TI-89, though it can solve symbolic algebra, doesn't make you miraculously get the right answer. You still have to know how to solve it in order to input it correctly. It just makes it a lot faster and easier. I worked in a shoe store for a time, and there are two perfectly valid reasons why they do this. 1. Every brand fits differently, so you often don't really know what size you are in that shoe until you try it on. 2. The truth is that so many men lie about their shoe size being bigger than it is, and so many women lie about it being smaller than it really is. Him: hey bro, can I get this in a 12? Me: later, hey so we didn't have the 12, but here's the 11 and 11.5 if you want to try those. Him: I guess, whoa what do you know, they fit, how weird. Her: can I get these in a size 5.5? Me: the smallest they make them in is a 6, so here try those. Her: wow even these are a little tight, this brand must really run small. I'll try the 6.5 I guess. How weird. This happened multiple times a day. That reminds of an interview Steve Jobs gave in 1995 on why companies fail. His theory is that eventually the company reaches a point where the marketing people become the driving force for profits and push out the product development people from running the company. That happened to Sears. If you went back in time and told Richard Sears and Alvaro Buck about a free technology that allowed customers to see your inventory in real time, read product reviews in real time, compare multiple versions of a product you carry in real time, order a product, pay for the product, watch the product move from your warehouse to the various post offices en route to their house, and by the way you won't have to pay the postage to ship out all those catalogs, they would have jumped on it in a heartbeat. But by the 90s, the people running Sears didn't care what was easier, read, more desirable, for the customer. They cared about numbers that measure success, but don't perpetuate success. I think they are in one of those phases that are hard to judge currently. Like 10 to 20 years from now it will feel obvious that Apple was becoming more X, but right now it's hard to tell. They have a whole Apple On Demand TV thing starting. If that goes huge they could become more like Netflix, or it could fail and they refocus on phones. Basically I think it's like Google with Google+. If it was a huge success everyone would just take it as fact that it was always going to be, that Google would be 50% with Facebook, but it never happened. Apple may become a huge phone/TV company or change into something completely different, but they are definitely changing. It was more complex than that, but yeah. Basically Sears was online ordering before online was a thing, you just phoned or mailed in your order. This meant that they were located in these massive warehouses in most major cities in North America. So basically they had an opportunity to execute on same-day delivery decades before Amazon even attempted that feat, but they didn't. Sears was too concerned about their magazine, or brick-and-mortar, sales to get into online sales and by the time they did it was too late. Similar to Kodak. They invented the digital camera sensor. They could have at the very least made an absolute killing on leasing their IPs to other camera manufacturers, or very best have created things like the Kodak Digital Rebel instead of letting basically every other camera manufacturer make off with the tech. Sears forgot that its product wasn't a brick-and-mortar store or magazine but rather a large selection of goods which people could order from home. Newspaper companies forgot that their company wasn't in the business of printing newspapers, but simply delivering the news. Kodak forgot its business wasn't manufacturing film, but creating photographs. Complicated tax filing in the U.S. You can thank TurboTax and the rest of the tax preparation service industry's massive lobby for killing every single tax simplification bill that ever gets to Congress. Exactly this. There's zero reasons why our tax returns can't be filed for free directly with the IRS. It is a complete fraud. I filed 1040EZ last year. The IRS already had every figure I filed, why couldn't they just email me confirmation of the amounts they had, and process my return? Son of a former IRS employee here. One problem that's probably tied to this is that the IRS doesn't have the ability to review everyone's tax returns to ensure that everyone told the truth on them. Instead, they basically go through a process of trying to determine the most likely individuals who owe the government money, then review as many of those as they can. This does not mean you'll slip through the cracks forever if you don't file your returns. They will eventually get back around to you, but they're likely not reviewing what you send to them every year. Conspiracy theorists have no interest in getting to the truth behind an issue they think important, they're more concerned with having special knowledge that makes them unique or heroes, usually because they've failed to understand how some aspect of reality actually works and so they've grabbed onto a convenient alternative, or because they feel left behind or maligned by a society that's rejected them. It's why conventions, like conspiracy cruises, are able to exist. Every booth should contradict every other booth, but they're willing to put blinders on to create a safe space where they can all get validated for the various nonsense they've decided they alone have championed. It's how ancient aliens can set up right next to Obama birthers and Jordan Peterson's all-meat diet. A post-truth individual is usually willing to accept multiple versions of truth, so long as it isn't the mainstream version. I'd actually say the version most people don't realize exists is child slavery for military purposes. Some of you folks might remember hearing about at least one of numerous genocides that occurred a bit back, one of the multiple committed against the Yazidis for example. It was well publicized that the men and boys were slaughtered and the women and girls were sold into slavery. Here's what wasn't so well publicized: a number of the boys were actually spared from being slaughtered. The cost was that they too were enslaved, except as child soldiers, though given the phenomena of dancing boys that was allowed to propagate by US and Allied forces, they may face other forms of abuse as well. The repugnant bastards responsible had planned primarily on brainwashing them to fight and die for the group. You likely hear less about this because obviously our soldiers and Allied soldiers sometimes have to shoot and kill these kids. Edit. Added some references for further information on the severity of the situation. Adding 2 more below. On the horrible phenomena called dancing boys, some credit is owed to you/strangeclouds_ for being the very first person to bring this to my attention about a month back. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=b7emu Kafai. On the rehabilitation of some of the child soldiers that were enslaved. https://www.gizmonitor.com/world/middle east/2019/0404/surviving ISIS young Yazidi conscripts begin long path to healing. I feel like it slowly grew to be as creepy as it is now. Regular aged people were in them, and siblings may have looked up to them, or people wanted to get into it. Age groups may have formed, then another younger group, then even younger, slowly without anyone realizing how creepy it had gotten. Just saying it's possible to not randomly start holding beauty pageants for a child. But I also have no idea the actual history of them, thankfully. It's basically this, but more about people wanting to start prepping earlier and earlier. At the start of the 20th century, professional baseball players worked jobs in the off-season to pay bills. Then they started getting paid and Branch Rickey started the farm leagues to grow talent, then it caught on. Start training players not good enough for the majors. Then college, then high school, then Little League, then T-ball. Sure, nowadays, Little League is a casual game for enjoyment, activity and community, but I bet the first one was people trying to get their kid competitively ready for college or pro ball before the rest. I think beauty pageants are same. Miss America started in 1921, Miss Universe in its current form started in '52 to sell swimsuits, along with Miss USA. Then in '83 it's Miss Teen USA. Considering people like Bridget Wilson, Halle Berry, Gretchen Carlson found success post-pageants, plus the scholarships for it, and Miss Teen starts at 14? I can totally see people wanting to train their kids for years leading up. I feel you. I live in a dry county college town. And just recently within the past few years they allow you to buy alcohol on Sundays after 12 noon. Just so they can get their church in before you buy alcohol. Although I'm not gonna buy beer before 12 anyways, but it's just the principle of the matter. Yeah, but see, I'm 35, have a wife and children, and I typically do my grocery shopping on Sunday mornings. So if I ran out of beer and it's on my list, without thinking about it I'll throw it in my cart, only to be reminded of the law at checkout. I honestly forget about it because it is completely fucking stupid, and knowing I have to make a special, separate trip for it enrages me. It's more than the principle, it's a completely unnecessary inconvenience caused by a religion I am not a part of. They physically block off the whole beer and wine aisle at our grocery store until noon on Sundays. There's a big sign and everything. Tourists still go around the barriers, and then get shitty with the cashiers when they tell them that the registers literally won't allow them to sell alcohol before noon. There are so many people I know who are amazing at their jobs and they have oodles of downtime every single day. At my last job, I'd actually time how long it took us to actually get all of our work done for the day. There was approximately 20 to 90 minutes of work per day to get done. That was it. I get having people in-house to handle certain items is necessary, But honestly, I could have come in at 10 a.m., left at 3 p.m. and never would have missed any actual work. Still had to be there from 8 to 5 every day though for some reason.